Hey everyone, Gizmo Mogwai here, and I have finally got the 110 to 150 bosses done and recorded, and I am making the videos now. Now this set of videos is the 110, 120, and 130 bosses. Now some tips and tricks that I want to also say is when you start getting into these higher floors, try to use a food buff. Gives you a little extra HP, and it can help. Other than that, try to use your buffs as you deem worthy. The first couple bosses, you don't really have to worry about the pometers too much, especially the first two. But after that, you really need to start maybe weighing your options on if you need to use a steel or strength on the boss fights. So for the most part, these first four bosses, and in this particular video, the first three bosses, are the same bosses as the 10, 20, and 30 floors on the previous set. This first one is called Alikanto. He's basically identical to the floor 10 boss. You just want to, make sure you're popping your potions when you need to. The only difference is when he does his arrow blast, it puts a windburn debuff on you, which is just it's kind of like a poison tick. Other than that, you just want to make sure that you avoid the AoEs that you can, pop your potions when you need to, and just keep whittling away at him. You don't really need to have like a food buff or anything as long as you got your max Aether pool. You don't need to pop a strength or a shield. You just, it's a war of attrition, but you have higher attrition in this fight. It's pretty simple. It's basically rinse and repeat. He goes through his whole cycle. When he puts the windburn debuff on you, he repeats everything again. So I'll let this video play out to show you the rest of how this fight goes, and good luck. This is probably the easiest one out of all of them that you'll be fighting. Now that we've got the 110 boss done, we're going to go to the 120 boss, Kurtamuka. This is a carbon copy of the floor 20 boss. Very simple. The only thing that's different is he hits harder. Just make sure you're popping your potions when you need to. As long as you got a surplus of those, it's really hard to die. Unless you fail the mechanics in the fight, or you get hit by AoEs. He does pretty much the same kind of AoEs. Most of them are avoidable. Except for this one right here, Leaf Storm. It's going to hit no matter where you're at. Just heal through it. There's no need to have a strength or a steel up. You don't really need it. As long as you got max Aether pool. He does put this target on you. And then you need to kill the ads. Just make sure you kill them in time. Avoid the AoEs. And you're good to go. This is basically the same boss from floor 20. Just on 120. Good luck. And I'll let the rest of this video play out. Something else I also want to note, and I didn't do it with the 110 boss either, is you can kind of kite these mobs around when you're playing as a machinist so that you avoid the auto attacks that are coming in. As long as you're careful with how you're doing it and you can watch for the AoEs that are coming out, it should not be a big problem. So now that we got the 120 boss done, we're going to move on to the floor 130 boss, the final boss in this video, Alfard. Now he is a Hydra boss, as you can tell. He is basically the same as the floor 30 boss, with one notable exception other than hitting harder. His fireballs and ice balls, he goes fire, ice, fire, ice. Now when he does his second ice ball, you need to be running towards the center because he will cast his Fear Within, and it's a much, much faster cast. So I suggest, as I did with the floor 30 boss, to bait the fireballs and ice balls on the outside. See how he's already moving in, and that fear itself is like that, very, very fast. I suggest baiting all of that on the outside, so you have a clear path onto the inside, and just keep whittling away. Make sure you're popping your potions because you're going to be hitting or getting hit a lot, and just try not to stand in the fireballs and ice balls when they're coming out. If you do, it's going to be a huge, heavy tick of damage. Now, as you're getting hit quite often, you know, basically every time that he can auto attack, you're going to be getting hit in this fight. I would suggest starting to use food buff for the boss. You should probably be using it for the floor runs themselves as well, but I would definitely suggest using the food buff for this boss. From this boss onward, just because if you get behind on your potion usage, it just gives you that little extra buff. Other than that, you know, it's just a back and forth battle. You know, you keep healing, he doesn't, so you're gonna just keep whittling away at him. You can start to choose to use a steel and strength around this fight if you want, if you're confident on maybe getting some renewals in your runs after this. I don't yet, though. So that's up to you. Other than that, this is basically rinse and repeat of the floor 30 boss, other than he hits harder and he casts a lot faster. Good luck. I know you can do it, and I'll see you at the end of the video. Something to note here is I got sloppy with my potion usage, and as you can tell, I'm starting to get really, really close to almost dying. So I start kind of kiting the boss around and kiting where the orbs are going to land, just to try to give me a little breather on recovering my HP. He got close. I got sloppy. That's another thing. Is you got to pay attention to what you're doing in these fights. You got to make sure that your potions are going off. Otherwise, you know, it's not hard for them to take you out real quick. And with that, the first 3 bosses are done. I hope this helped you out in your journey to get through to the Necromancer title as well. This has been Gizmo Mogwai with Gizmo Mogwai Gaming. Please drop a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. You can also follow me over on Twitch at twitch.tv/GizmoMogwai1027. The next 2 bosses will be out very shortly. Hope you like this. Hope it helps you. Stay hydrated, and goodbye.